Well, Labor was again under fire today for failing to use new laws to re-detain child sex offenders, violent criminals and murderers into the community. The Prime Minister was accused of putting public safety at risk for not ensuring that the criminals were wearing ankle bracelets and not using their new laws to put these thugs back behind bars. Home Affairs Minister Clare O'Neill promised new laws late last year would keep the community safe.
I wish that they could be kept in detention. If it was up to me, I would keep them in detention. I can't do that. The High Court has made a call. These people are not people who I wanted on the streets of our country, and that is exactly why they were kept in detention until our government received a High Court ruling that we must follow. These people were in detention under our government. These are decisions that Andrew and I made to keep them in detention. If we had legal power, they would not be in the community today, but the High Court decision must be complied with, and we're doing that in the way that best protects the safety of the community.
And then after all of that, they introduced new laws that promised to put these criminals back behind bars. But despite this, Clare O'Neill, Andrew Giles and the rest of the team have not put in a single application to re-detain any of the rapists, criminals or murderers who are now free on our streets. To discuss this and other issues, let's bring in One Nation leader Pauline Hanson. Pauline, thank you so much for your time this evening. Look, it's kind of astonishing that this was such a big scandal late last year, and yet still the government is on the back foot and has been clearly incompetent on such a serious issue.
Sherry, let's go back to it. This is one case, NZYQ, and it was taken to the High Court on the one case. The Attorney General Dreyfus knew about it April last year. Ministers O'Neill and Giles knew about it in May. They were asked to actually have a backup with it because in case of the loss, they did absolutely nothing about it. It was mayhem at the end of last year when on the 7th, the 8th of November, they were told then to release these people, this one person. Remember, it was one court case. The government then, under that decision by the courts to allow this one person had to be released. And the whole decision of the court was based on Chapter 3, where the High Court said, you cannot punish people. That is our job. So therefore, and because you could not detain these people indefinitely in detention because you couldn't send them back to their own countries or have them deported to other countries. That was the High Court's decision. So the government then, without discussing it, released the whole lot, 149. Now, one person didn't want to wear, what I understand at the time, didn't want to wear an ankle bracelet. There was only, for an hour and a half, debate on that was shut down on that first day. The government was told about it and got the documents to the legislation about 7 o'clock that morning. I was informed about it at 9 o'clock. There was only Michaelia Cash and I that actually grilled Minister Watt, who was acting minister with regards to this legislation at the time, and he couldn't answer all our questions. It was guillotined, and that's where I blame Senator David Pocock. You got 5 in your ACT. You got 5 of these criminals there that should be in detention, and he was the one that actually allowed the guillotine to go ahead and supported the Greens and Labor. So, Shari, my argument about all this is we have more refugees coming in by plane. So this has set a precedent that we need to actually address. But we have to look at the laws and legislation. So we have to address why the courts have made the decision you can't keep them in detention indefinitely.
Yeah. Look, Andrew Giles has been performing terribly this week. The fact that he didn't even put in one application, and neither did Clare O'Neill, since they got these new laws giving them the ability to re-detain the most dangerous of the criminals late last year. Do you think this is a sackable offence? Do you think Andrew Giles needs to go over this?
Yes, I do. I think he's been hopeless and incompetent. Well, I had a meeting with him, with other members of Parliament, and I asked him some questions. I was not impressed with him whatsoever, and I don't believe he's across his brief, and I definitely do believe that he needs to go. This is a blight on this government of how they'd handle this. It is not the fault, and I'm sick and tired of seeing the blame being put on the coalition government, which had nothing to do with them. This was a case that was fought on the Constitution, had nothing to do with these people in detention, the 149. So therefore, they can't even answer the questions. They have no idea. It's about time both sides of Parliament, the Labor and the Liberals and the National Party, started working together on how to deal with this, because if we don't come up with the answers, we've got that many people landing in Australia will actually claim refugee status. We can't send them back. This government has applied to 6 different countries to take these refugees back to their own countries or deport them to these countries. They refuse to do it. It's cost us over nearly $8.5 million so far. And when I questioned the government, they said, we are responsible. We will house them and pay them for 12 weeks. What's going to happen after that?
No, exactly. Look, this is
it's the cost of the taxpayer.
Major issue, and well, the worst thing is not only the cost to the taxpayer, the worst thing is the fear that more of these people could reoffend. We know some of them have already reoffended, allegedly, but if any reoffend again, that is going to be on the Prime Minister's watch and on his head.